Awesome. Welcome, everybody. We're going to give people a couple minutes to filter in. I see one attendee I know personally. That is Ismail. Hey, David, welcome. I'm going to give people a couple minutes to filter in, and we're going to get started. Let me make sure you guys can sound off in the chats so that when we ask for questions and feedback, you guys will be able to do that. Dun, dun, dun. Okay, how's everybody doing today? It is Thursday, and I'd love to hear where our guests are in from. I know Ismail is coming from Trinidad and Tobago. David, where are you from? Lisa, Olena? Sound off in the chat. Really looking forward to this. We've got this zero-click economy. It's been a very big topic recently. I'm going to dive into it officially in a couple of minutes, but certainly this has been a real hot topic all around the internet, as well as actually at Inbound. So this is going to be, I think, very valuable for a lot of you, and I hope you get a lot to take out of it. All right. Aricia, Kate, give me a thumbs up when you think we're ready to get started. All right, let's just wait. I'll wait one more minute to let a couple of people jump in, and then we'll get started. I know we've got a lot to cover, so I can't take too much of a delay, but this will be very, very valuable. Okay. All right, let's go ahead and get started. Everybody else will be able to get the recording via email. So, hi everyone. I'm Robert DeGans. I'm really thrilled to be here with my colleagues, Kate and Aricia. Today, we're going to tackle one of the biggest challenges in B2B marketing right now, and that is that funnel that is disappearing. So we're going to dive right in, and we're going to go to the next slide here. There is a big reality check that's happening for a lot of marketers. They're seeing their funnels just sort of disappear. 85% of B2B buying decisions are actually happening before the buyer contacts you. They're doing a lot of their research independently and then coming to you. And over half of Google searches now end with 0 clicks because we're seeing a lot more of those AI overviews. People are searching, gathering information in different spots, and then coming to you much more educated. You know, they're scrolling Reddit, they're scrolling Slack, they're asking ChatGPT, Claude, Perplexity. They're even going on Quora to find out what's the best decision for them. And then they're likely coming to you on their short list rather than coming to you and downloading content. So if we just slide right along. So this is typically an example of like what a day in the life of what your buyer might look like. So they're going to ChatGPT, they're going to Reddit, they're going to Claude, they're going to Slack and asking people like, hey, has anybody of you guys used this platform or that platform? What were your experiences with it? Then they're going to their CEO or their CFO and saying, hey, these are the 2 finalists that we want to work with. So in all of that conversation, your brand website and your brand content hasn't actually been touched. They're going to all these external places, these third-party places to get more information. No ad clicks, no form fills, but the decision is almost made. When they get in touch with you, they're pretty sure it's either you or some other person. Now, I want to get a sense of the room, right? I want you guys to be honest. Of these things here, you can put the number in the chat, literally. Press 1 if you're seeing declining organic traffic. Press 2 if you're seeing lower conversion rates from traditional inbound channels. 3 if you're getting longer sales cycles with less visibility into where the buyers are coming from. And then 4 if you're getting qualified looking leads who turn out to just be browsing. Of course, if you're getting all 5, press 5. Okay. I'll let you guys find the chat there a second. It might be a little difficult to find. Ismail's saying he's seeing declining organic traffic. All right. Let's see who else is sounding off. Arisha said in the private chat she's seeing number 4. David saying 1. Christine saying 4. So a good mix, right? You're seeing leads who are just kind of kicking the tires. A lot of people seeing declining organic traffic. Prem saying he's seeing a lot longer sales cycles. Well, interesting. A lot of the feedback that we get is actually 5, all of the above. But the thing is, as you can see, you're not alone. A lot of other people are sounding off and getting the same issues you are. You're not doing anything wrong. The rules have just changed, and most of the playbooks that you're used to have not adapted to that. And that's what we're here to fix here today. So let me introduce the team that I'm here with. So it's, of course, myself, your host, 15 years in marketing. We've got Kate, our CEO, who's got over 20 years of experience in marketing. She's a member of the CMO Alliance, former Forbes Agency Council member, and really knowledgeable in B2B go-to-market strategies, and has delivered B2B growth for hundreds of our clients, from startups all the way up to large corporations. Alongside her is Aricia. She's got over a decade of experience in digital marketing for B2B tech companies, has generated leads through SEO and now for SAIO for billion-dollar companies. And her degree is in linguistics, but she wrote her diploma actually on SEO semantics. So it gives her a really unique perspective on the whole shift in SAIO. So let me tell you, so that's who we have with you, but let me tell you about 42DM and what we have to do with the zero-click economy with this B2B marketing and brand visibility. So in a short intro, we started in 2016. Hey, we're going to be 10 next year. We've delivered hundreds of successful projects globally and built out a real framework to deal with this dark funnel, the funnel that you can't see, you don't have access to. We've delivered 30% lower customer acquisition cost for a cybersecurity platform using this framework. We tripled traffic growth from ChatGPT and Perplexity for one of our enterprise SaaS clients, and then delivered over a 75% increase in AI search visibility for one of our software engineering firm clients. So we've done it for a wide range of people and absolutely can help you reach those goals as well. And as you can see here, we're just sharing some photos. That's me and Kate over at Inbound. And we are seeing this. This is not just you guys. This is not just what we're seeing. Everyone at Inbound was talking about it. We run marketing for dozens of tech and SaaS products across different industries. So we're seeing these shifts in real time. We've already been testing and refining the framework that we're going to share with you today. So you're in really good hands. Yeah, and Aricia brought up a great question. Anyone else was at Inbound? We didn't get to meet everyone. But at this year's Inbound conference, the zero-click economy was really the talk of the town. Everybody's noticing the same thing. Organic traffic is dropping. AI engines are answering questions before people ever reach your website. And if you're visible in AI platforms, you tend to see your traffic drop, but your revenue per visitor can go up because these people are much more educated about you. I actually hosted a couple brain dates that were completely sold out on optimizing for AI search, and people know that this change is coming. They're just not sure what to do. Stick with us. We'll guide you the right way. That's what today's session is about, how to take these trends and turn them into a clear, actual, practical strategy. So this is the agenda. Here's what you'll leave with today. First, why traditional inbound is now invisible and where your buyers really are. Our framework and the solution to that, how to build relevance, visibility, trust, scoring, and enablement, all with real examples, not just making this up. We're showing you we've done it before and how it works, and some tactical checklists. Then you can leave with an action plan that you read through it. By Monday morning, you can actually start accelerating results, and we can even help deliver you a clear diagnosis of your biggest gaps. By the end, we really want to leave with you practical steps that you can immediately take to upgrade your marketing for the end of 2025 all the way into 2026. With that, enough from me. I'm going to pass it over to the ever-capable Kate.
Thanks, Rob. You are absolutely right. B2B marketing hasn't been going quite as planned in 2025. And organic traffic is down for a lot of us, and MQLs do not convert quite as it was. The dashboard looked really busy, but not better. We are creating great content, running campaigns, checking all the boxes, and yet our buyers, they've gone quiet. The truth is, the old playbook just doesn't work anymore. And that's exactly what was discussed a lot on the Inbound 2025. And that's exactly what we're here to share how can be fixed. But in order to fix something, we need to understand how it actually works. We all remember when inbound marketing used to feel predictable. We wrote the content, we optimized that for SEO, we got the traffic, we captured the leads, we nurtured them, we converted them to opportunities. Very simple, very linear, but those times are gone. Yep, and times when page views, MQLs, email opens actually were meaningful metrics, they're way gone. But AI showed up to us and rewrote the whole buyer's journey. Now people research, evaluate, and even decide without ever touching your website, without ever speaking to your sales team. They exclude you from the list or include you in the conversation you are not a part of. They are inside ChatGPT, inside Claude, inside of Reddit threads, Slack groups. Again, you are doing the same thing when you are buying the solutions that is happening across all the B2B verticals and industries. And the good news, when those people who passed all the gates of ChatGPT, Claude, Reddit, they show up at your website, they will convert 3 to 10 times more likely into opportunity and then new customer because they are prepared. The challenge is how to show up in those invisible conversations, in this invisible high intent world. And that's what we will explore today. So let's move on. Again, if the inbound playbook has played out, what should marketers do for 2026? Again, we all remember it's already October of 2025. A lot of us are thinking, what should we change for 2026 marketing strategy? What should we keep and what should we adjust? And what should we start, of course? To succeed, marketing needs a serious upgrade, a framework that accounts for invisible buyer activity, AI research, multi-stakeholder decision-making, because the times are challenging and in a lot of the decisions, much more people are involved. And that means we need to account for them. And that is exactly what we are willing to share. So let's start with the framework. Our framework helps B2B companies stay visible, trusted, and chosen. Even in the meetings, we will never show up. So we start with relevance because it's incredibly important to focus on accounts that's showing real intent and structural pain. Not just the pain that will go away tomorrow, the pain that is within the team composition, within their tech stack on deeper levels, the pain that only your solution and solution like yours can solve. We need to build visibility for them and be present where buyers actually research, like AI engines, communities, and citation networks. Of course, visibility gets you just noticed. Trust gets you chosen. And that means we need to build the trust with human voices. Because it's not the brand buyers are choosing in 2025. It's people who build it, people with authentic thought leaders' voices. And when we've done all of that, we got them notice us, we got them trust us. We need to score them where they are in the buyer's journey. Because interest isn't the intent and definitely not the readiness to buy. Track user behavior across every touch point to see who's truly ready to buy. To know if you score with them, you need to score them first. And that is what we will learn today how to do. And then we will go deeper and try to think buyer enablement, not the sales enablement. Because to win in the meetings you'll never attend, you need to enable your champions. And for that, you need to rethink the strategy on how you design those enablement materials. With all of those 5 steps will help B2B companies move from invisible to predictable, high-converting opportunities. And let's dive deeper and start with relevance. Okay, relevance. Why is it important and what is it? If you're targeting the wrong accounts, we all understand everything else is a wasted efforts. But in 2025, it's not only about targeting like right firmographically accounts. You need to think on a deeper level, because those like wide target account list of 10,000 accounts that kind of fit on paper, most of those companies actually do not have the structural pain that your product solving, and they do not care about what your solution. If you can find those 1,000 that really feel this pain and hurt enough to act, you will drive your conversion 10, 20 times out of the target account list. And that means putting the same amount into the paid budget, into warming up those accounts, will convert 10 to 20 times higher. So for the sake of today's exercise, let's pretend we are marketing leaders of AI platform designed to build reliable AI. Again, everybody's talking today about the hot topic of AI infrastructure. So imagine we all are the marketing leads of AI infrastructure platform. And of course, we want to target AI leaders in AI-ready companies. But of course, we do not want to be there where everybody knows everything. So we want to find those sweet spot of non-tech companies where they are already building something, but they are not know-it-all. And we still can sell them the solution. We can provide them the meaningful results. The old way would be, okay, we want non-tech, let's do manufacturing. Let's do manufacturing, let's target 500 plus employees with 50 million revenue. Definitely, if they have this revenue, they have resources, everybody is talking about the AI, they definitely will be building somewhere. Maybe not today, but tomorrow. That's basically spray and pray. Only 20% of those accounts really are building something. And for everybody else, because of the level of the noise that surrounds us, your message will be incredibly irrelevant. So they will just pass that through. The new way, let's think what evidence can we gather and how can we build the segment of the accounts that really care about your solution, that are AI readiness, and that we can really convert with our solution and bring the value to. Let's think, okay, let's do manufacturing, but let's do manufacturing who already hiring some machine learning engineers and use the RAG tools. Because if they're using the RAG tools, that means that they're training LLM and probably they will be releasing their product soon. Maybe we can find those who are posted AI jobs, so they're expanding. That means that they are really serious about those AI investments. And we do not want all of those know-it-all companies, so we need to limit, they need to have the limited resources in AI development, and our platform can bring the most value. So let's limit the team of data engineer and AI engineers to 20 people and focus on just them and then expand. Now you have 1,000 accounts, but around 40% of them really need your solution. And putting any dollar behind those accounts will mean much higher level of conversion and much better return on investment, both of your efforts and the efforts of your sales team. So that's how it's done. But how can you replicate that on a daily basis for different segments and different products? Of course, we all can start with building the wider universe based on the firmographics. Industry, size, region, it's all still valuable and relevant, but we just need start from there and then step by step narrow the universe to the one that you fits most. Then we can use intent topics and intent spikes in order to at least target those accounts who know what the problem is. So you do not need them to educate them from the scratch. Then we need to identify which text signals really shows us that we can solve the problem for them. Are there any backend software that if they use that, that means that they are, for example, AI ready? And if we can find this signals in tech stack, let's put and narrow wise with this tech stack, our wider universe. Then we have the organizational signals. Do they have the right people to lead the initiative? Do they even have the head of AI or somebody who is doing this job? Do they have the team? At least 2-3 people to work with, and not too many people. So there comes the organizational structure that signals us that we are the right fit. And then comes the momentum. Maybe they just hired the new CTO who promised to launch the AI initiative across the company and optimize like thousands of dollars or millions of dollars. Maybe they hired a new CEO. Maybe they just announced like on their IPO call or whatever. So M&A, that they just acquired a new company and they need to optimize resources and they need AI for that. All of those can be signals for you to have this even more narrow list to focus on right now and more wider list that has the structural fit. And you can build with them visibility, you can build trust, and then you can score them for their readiness when they are ready. So what you can do tomorrow? And what tools do you need in order to build your first target account list that has the structural fit between your solution and the pain that the companies feel? Of course, let's start simple. Let's look on your best customers and let's look on them in 2 different aspects. Aspect number 1, the ones that have the biggest and the highest LTV. Of course, we want to replicate our biggest successes. But also look at the deals that you closed fastest and see what pain did you solve to them that allowed them to justify your solution and moving so fast? Where the emergency comes from, and how can you replicate and find the signals that this emergency exists across other accounts? So great, amazing. You understand what is behind your biggest successes. You can build the lookalike, and you can build your universe by firmographics and then narrowize it layer by layer. To build the initial universe with firmographics, you can use very widespread and easy to access tools like Apollo. I think pretty much everybody here have it. So you can start with firmographics signals and just build the 10,000 account list. Then you can go deeper and understand the structure of the team that you are providing the solution to. And narrowize this 10,000 to 5,000. Then you go to and you hunt for the intent. You can go to Bombora. If you use ZoomInfo, there is intent that you can use from ZoomInfo. And you can narrowize to the intent-aware accounts. Then you go to the deeper signals. And for that, you will need probably a little bit more advanced tech stack that can be, again, a bit more expensive. But if you use that on more narrow list, each data enrichment will not gonna cost you a fortune. And you can easily run Clay with the like more expensive, but really cool and interesting signals that can bring you those who are using just RAG tools or those who are using very rare tech stack. They can bring you this data, but if you run them on 3,000 accounts, you will narrowize that to 1,000 in much more cost-efficient way. And then you are prioritizing by those momentum signals that you grab using the AI context-aware enrichment. So that's pretty much it. That's what you can do tomorrow to build your small universe of extremely nice and great bubble to sell to. And then we need to build the visibility inside this bubble. And I'm passing my word to Arisa, and she will share the secrets behind building the visibility and trust.
Thank you, Kate. So before I go in, I'd like to get a feel of the room and understand how well you're familiar with AI search and what matters for AI search. So if you could score it on a scale from 1 to 5, how would you rate it? Just put it in the chat so I get a better understanding of how technical I should be too. Okay, that's good. So usually when we talk to clients, they know the most, like out of the 5 components of our framework, they're the most familiar with AI search because it's pretty similar to SEO. It's like SEO on steroids, I like to say. Okay, thank you. Yeah, so how do you get cited by AI and why is it that important? So 45% of all B2B research happens in AI engines. If you are in a niche where your audience is tech savvy, uses AI to compare solutions, to find tailored solutions, then definitely you need AI visibility. Why the step that Kate told you about, the creation of target account list, is important and establishing relevance. Because basically, once you've analyzed your client base, you can see their pain points, you can see how your solution fits their journey, you can see their trigger points for when they're ready to buy. And you can use all of that information to tailor your AI approach, AI optimization approach, because all of these things help you find out what questions they might be asking to AI engines that are relevant to your business. Like on the top of funnel stage, they usually ask about what is this industry? What are AI orchestration engines even? Are there any AI orchestration engines that do this or that? On the second stage, on the middle of funnel, they would be like comparing platforms. Mabel versus Vellum versus Vectera. How do I pick one? Compare the pricing, compare value per price. What are the risks? On the bottom of funnel stage, they would be asking particular questions about a particular platform, like show me case studies for my specific situation. And so all of those use cases, all of those issues that they're trying to solve with AI, you get from stage one. So I won't be like too detailed about AI search, and we have prepared some Easter eggs for you, like this QR code. There are a few more coming. So if you would like to find out more, there's a whole SAIO dedicated webinar that we hosted a couple months ago that you can either scan the QR code, or when we send you the presentation, you can go via this link and it's free to watch. You can just request the recording and watch it. So I'll just cover what works, like what are the factors that matter for AI search optimization that we have tested on ourselves. We have proven them to work with our clients' projects. Pretty much it's the same set of factors. It's just distributed differently, like the ratios are different for each search model. Of course, it's not set in stone. It's a moving, living organism, because as soon as AEO or SAIO, what is the latest abbreviation, whatever, specialists come with this list, then the algorithms change and the structure changed. But there is like a core skeleton. So the core skeleton is the content about your company that you present on the website and externally, the credibility of your website, which is supported both on the right company information on your site and also with the right external placements, external company mentions, how widespread and how known your company is in the community. Like, do you have thought leadership? Do you have topical authority in your industry? Do people talk about you in different communities, Reddit, Quora, etc., LinkedIn even? So all of that matters. And the approach that we have come up with that works for our clients basically includes these 4 areas, and these are the areas that you should be working with. So traditional SEO is still important because it gives your website the structure that AI crawlers need. AI crawlers scan your website in a similar way to Google crawlers, but there are a few differences. Like, instead of keywords in traditional SEO, we have prompts. The article formats are a bit different. We have covered all of that in our webinar. You can look into it more. So digital PR is important because if other websites mention your site, and in AEO, mentions are enough. Like, you don't have to actually do the whole backlink thing anymore. Just mentions are enough. They provide the credibility and trust to what you're saying, because if more and more websites refer to you as the expert, then so will the AI engine perceive you. Social media and thought leadership, that's to build authority, that's to build topical authority, to produce content that proves you have expertise to speak on the topics that you speak about. So this is super important, but not just thought leadership for the sake of just posting, but also engaged thought leadership, building an engaged community around your profile. I'll cover that more in the next section. And then there's data amplification. So there's this whole set of technical items you need to do on your website to make sure it's scannable, it's readable, it's accessible. There's the structured data. Some of you may have heard about it, some of you may have not, but this is basically marking different knowledge graphs on your website in the code to let the crawlers know that this is your founding team, this is your founding year, this is your address of the headquarters, etc. So all of that works in combination, but at the core of it all, of course, is quality content, it's transparency, sharing information about your company, sharing all the proof points, and proving it with actual links. So if some of you ever tried to create a Wikipedia page about your company, you know that you have to prove every single word about your company with an external link. This is pretty much it. This is very similar. So we have applied this approach on multiple customers already. These are some of the results that we're seeing with some of our customers. We see an increase in positive sentiment. We see traffic from AI engines. We see leads from AI engines. And we also see some side benefits. So the benefit to this whole SAIO approach is that you optimize in additional channels. You optimize in communities. You grow your thought leadership profile. And you can get some side leads from thought leadership or leads from communities or traffic from communities along the way. So now that you have gained visibility, how do you build trust? And here we'd like to focus on thought leadership, because over the recent couple years, thought leadership has become a non-obvious marketing channel that so many people are neglecting, but they shouldn't. And the reason for that is people trust people more. And if some of you have run ads on corporate pages versus thought leadership page, you would even notice that the performance of thought leadership ads, meaning if they're run from a personal account rather than the corporate, it is just so much better. It's so much higher. The engagement is higher, the click-through rate is higher, and it's cheaper overall, which is why with most of our clients, I guess at this point, we've switched to thought leadership advertising on LinkedIn rather than corporate, and we recommend you do too. But why is it so? So there has been research, and a lot of C-level execs confess that thought leadership does have an impact on their decision making. Some of them switched their suppliers based on some really cool, convincing thought leadership content that they found online. Some of them have attributed new business to vendors with quality thought leadership content. Everybody in the modern world, in the modern corporate world, consumes a lot of thought leadership content. People spend a lot of time in their feeds. And once they identify a potential vendor who might help them solve their problem, they check them on social media. They check their expertise. They check their credentials, authority, and all of that. It's done on LinkedIn, Reddit, etc. So how do you make it work? Again, there's a whole thought leadership approach that I will share on the next slide. Not on the next slide, sorry, on the previous. No, I will share it a bit later. So there's a whole playbook that we're going to share with you that's free with like the full-on approach, but I'll just share some highlights here. So what makes our thought leadership approach special is our secret sauce, and it's mirroring the buying committee. It's a non-obvious step because usually when you pick how to work with thought leadership for your company, you just pick the most like active, social, extroverted person in your company and then help them set up regular posting on LinkedIn. So we go a little bit more strategic about it because people do not just trust people. People trust people like themselves who have experienced the problems that they are experiencing, that they're facing, and who have found solutions and who are sharing about their career and their life in the language that is similar to what the target audience is speaking. So tech decision makers follow tech decision makers. Marketing people follow marketing people. Which is why when we begin a thought leadership project with some of our clients, we map out this buying committee and we try to mirror it with our thought leadership structure. Yes, so just some examples from our own practice that's like totally safe to use, not under NDA. And also, I have to say we have a lot of freedom here. So we have built a thought leadership profile for Kate that we have totally optimized for our target audience. We are super active there. So you can check the types of content that we're posting, which content is performing well. Like there's a lot of work behind what we're posting, when we're posting it, etc. Because this is also how we test things. I know Kate has a lot of patience, especially for some of the crazy stuff we do sometimes, like really funny memes. So thank you for that. But the result of that is that we uncover certain patterns, especially after major LinkedIn algorithm updates that we can later apply on our clients' projects. And I'm going to share a few of those things with you in a bit. Yes, so here's the Easter egg, the second Easter egg that I promised. It's the QR code to the Thought Leadership Playbook, again, free of charge. You can just download it and check it out. We go into all of these in more details. How do you build your profile? How do you make sure it doesn't become a nuisance? Because for a lot of our thought leaders, they're like, I am required to post on LinkedIn after everything that I do at work. Well, it doesn't have to be a nuisance if there's a structure to it, if there's an approach. So you'll check these tips in more details. You noticed every section of our webinar has the slide with like actionable tips. Of course, we'll share the slides, but I wanted to focus here on one core idea is that many thought leaders forget that LinkedIn is a social network. So you don't just put your content out there and like pray it works and forget about it. You have to do a lot of communication in there. You have to respond to messages promptly. You have to accept or reject your connection requests within a certain time frame. You have to be active under other people's posts. You have to like and comment and do meaningful comments. And for example, one of the things we do before we post on Kate's profile, we go and comment on like 5 profiles that are external, that are from third level connections. And this gives you an immediate boost with the LinkedIn algorithm. So yeah, this commenting part, the last one, it's super important. The timing is important. Be strategic about it. Usually that's from Tuesday to Thursday, early morning when people are commuting to work, of course, for your audience's time zone. Change different formats, repurpose formats a lot. So what AI engines like when they're scanning information about your company is if some content is repeated on multiple platforms across multiple formats. This is like a really nice tip to boost your AI visibility and thought leadership. So essentially what it leads to is that people have relevant people that you have identified have found you through your visibility and awareness program. They have built trust with you through thought leadership and through topical authority content that you share. And now it's time to make sure they're ready to buy from you. And user intent scoring is something Kate is very, very good at. So I'm passing this to her.
Thank you so much, Arisa, and thank you for sharing how to build the visibility and trust. And now, as we build that, we need to understand how to identify where our buyers are in the user's journey, in their buyer's journey. First, we need to score, and then only then we can score them with them. Old school lead scoring was very simple. Can we go to the slide? Okay. Old school lead scoring was simple, but it tracked more clicks than the context. If somebody downloaded the white paper, that was great. If they also visited a couple of pages, amazing. As soon as they reach like certain score level of, I don't know, 50, 100, depending on what numbers do you assign to those things, you pass them to sales. That doesn't mean that they are really ready to buy. That means that they were engaged with your content. They could research out of curiosity. They could not have any intent to buy right now. And we need to distinguish one from another, especially when we are dealing with this. When we want to build this trustful relations with our buyers, we do not want to overwhelm them with unnecessary sales calls. Again, people want to stay invisible. It's not like they feel much safer not to fill in the form on your website because they will not going to be overwhelmed with salespeople calling them and asking when will they buy the amazing solution you're producing. So that is the reason they are not submitting the form. The reason they are not submitting the form is the intent behind their submission could be misinterpreted by marketers and then by sales. And we want to avoid that. But in order to distinguish just curiosity from what really matters, you need to analyze what matters in the beginning. You need to go to your CRM, identify top 20, top 50 deals, and go and build the buyer's journey and understand who was engaging in those deals. What content were they consuming? What patterns of engagement do you notice? Does it mean if 3 people are jumping on your website and you see 3 different patterns of engagement, even do not know the people behind. You just know that somebody from this account is extensively reading the technical documentation, but the another person is checking the pricing. And most probably the person who is reading the case study is not the one that is checking the documentation and integration session. If you notice those patterns in your past deals, you then can signal when those patterns will appear again. And you can score those patterns of behavior and who is engaging, what they are consuming, and how they are engaging with this content. You can score them and you can actually pass to the sales team those leads that are much more willing to talk. And you can equip your sales team with meaningful context, so they will not overwhelm, but provide additional value to the champion. And that is extremely important when you are mapping the scoring. The scoring is not for the sake of scoring. The scoring is for your sales team to understand what actually to do with this lead and how to convert faster. So again, let's start with something you can implement tomorrow or the next week. Map your buyer stages. Go to your CRM and look at the activity in HubSpot in each of the content that were involved in the deals. Look what they've been consuming, what content were they looking for, what they were reading, when they started to engage and write and actually respond to your sales team. What additional materials have they been requesting, and who were involved from the team composition? You will identify similar patterns. Like everybody was asking about the integration. Everybody was asking about the successful success stories in the industry. Everybody was asking about ROI calculator. So if you identify the similar patterns, you can define those signals and you can identify how to track those signals. And then you can actually make some meaningful actions, either assign them as a task to the sales team or automate them. Those three simple steps can help you convert the scoring that is just the number for the sake of the number with a meaningful context, the scoring that actually means for the sales team how to act and when to act. That is how to score, but then let's talk a little bit more about buyer enablement versus sales enablement. And that is probably where most of the team are still acting the old playbook, and where we're equipping our sales team to be a better salespeople, to be better in the room, to share most valuable materials. But we do not assume that those salespeople will never have the opportunity to actually share those materials. Champion will talk to them briefly and will get the information themselves because they do not want to waste the time. So you need to switch the concept from sales enablement to buyer enablement, because you need your buyer to be your champion, to be the best seller of your company. And you need to provide them the material that will be actually valuable in the room where there is no you. It's just them and the bulk of C-level, procurement, and technical influencers that will ask them questions, and they need to be able to cover those. Because again, in the past, in the traditional inbound marketing, we've been equipping the sales team. Let's switch the pattern and start to equip the buyer. Okay, so how to think this way? Go to your sales enablement library and try to transform this library to buyer's enablement library. And for that, you need to ask about each of the papers you have in this amazing library. You need to ask those 4 questions. First, can they share this forward to the person that will be asking for additional information? Is the document you have clear enough, easy to read, and shareable to the people who never heard of you? Does it make them look smart? And that is extremely important. In order for them to risk their job and advocate for you, they need to think that if they acquire this amazing tool, and even while they are acquiring this amazing tool, they are scoring with their boss, they are scoring with their team. So each of the paper you share with them, you need to think, how will this paper make them look? Okay. Okay, of course, you need to think if those amazing presentations or docs even cover the pre-answer the objections, because this is the most important thing. And of course, in multi-stakeholders decision-making universe, you need to think multi-stakeholder library. So you probably will not gonna send technical documentation and summary of integration to the C-level CTO. Maybe they're not the right person to receive this documentation. For them, maybe it's much more important to get the executive summary and share that forward with the procurement with the proper brief and comparison between different options. So you need to think of those multi-stakeholder libraries, one-pagers. And now let's think how we can adjust and go to your wardrobe of the sales enablement materials and audit them for the buyer enablement. So first, of course, audit what you already have with just those 4 questions. Map the content towards different stakeholders and decision-making stages. And very easy, gather all of that together, and based on that, with the help of amazing AI co-pilots that you have, craft 3 one-pagers. One for technical validation, other one for business case and ROI, and one executive summary. Those will be your templates that can be adjusted for each of the specific case, but you will already have very easy to share and worth sharing materials. As soon as you have them, go to your sales team and ask the fair and very brutally honest feedback on those amazing things, and if they are ready to really use them. And if so, most probably you are ready with your initial draft of switching from sales enablement layer to buyer's enablement, and you can build on top of that. Next slide. Okay, we are very sorry. We've thrown a lot on you. That's very hard to digest. We do not want to be overwhelming, and we want just to bring that all together in order for you to understand how the system really works. Remember, in the beginning of this conversation, we agreed that we are all marketing leaders at AI development platform, helping non-tech businesses to get the AI out of the lab to the production. We all remember that. We are focusing on manufacturing companies that are ready to buy. We built our tool, and now let's see this target account list in action with a dark funnel framework. So now step into the buyer's shoes. How the buyer of this company will see the system working, and how will they interact with that and engage with that. A VP of AI in a manufacturing company scrolls LinkedIn, and they see, okay, 95 of AI initiatives fail. That one I know, MIT just said that, but they fail because, especially they fail in non-tech companies, and they fail because they lack the proper transition from the lab to the production environment. And they do not have the systems and platforms to support the reliability of the AI in production. Oh, that is something meaningful. I was just feeling this pain. I probably can read more and want to know more because my AI in the lab is just failing as they describe. So that is your champion, potential champion. Now the champion goes to ChatGPT, and of course they've read something, and a lot of fake news are existing out there, so they want to double check. They go to ChatGPT, or most probably to Claude, and they want to, okay, is that even true? Are those AI orchestration, AI development platforms really helping for me to migrate from the lab to production and still have the reliable product? And what are those top 4 products that can help me with that? Amazing. And of course, if you've done the visibility right, as Arisa advised, you will be one of those 4 companies that pop up. And that's amazing. Okay, now that you're VP of AI, you have those 4 companies, you want to double check them. You go to the LinkedIn, to your peers, to your influencers, and you search for what people do about AI reliability, how they manage to build the reliable products, And the person always pop up in your search. And as a CEO of the company, of course, the thought leader that you as a marketer have been working towards, because you're pushing the content in front of the VP of AI. Now that is relevance, visibility, and trust put together to engage with the champion. You have your champion, and that is amazing. And champion almost bought it, but of course, they need tech evaluation. When you have the technical team that already checked on your solution, never actually talked to anybody, just checked it in the dark, checked that in the dark, they gave you the green light and said, okay, this is the solution we want, then you need to make sure that at least you have the trust with the C-level decision makers, because your champion will come to them and will show at least 2 options that are shortlisted, and they will give the green light to the one they saw. So if your thought leadership was reached to the right decision makers and build this initial trust, you will get the green light there as well. And again, the system seems complex, but the user journey for your potential buyer looks very smoothly, because for them, it seems that everything that is happening, it's just their own will. And even though they were never revealed, or they were revealed to you and they put the lead and they met with your salesperson on the latest stages of the decision-making process, you actually impacted each and every of them just doing that from the dark into the dark. Okay. And again, I know that a lot of the marketers today are very tight with the resources. And that means that because we are tight of the resources, this system can really feels like a lot. And we do not want that for you. We want to make your life simpler. And luckily, with a bit of AI magic, good automations put in place, and a solid sales mastery and good sales and marketing alignment between you and your market and your sales team and your marketing operations and DevOps team, you can make this system pretty much like a flywheel that runs almost on its own, especially when we are talking about scoring, especially when we are talking about even identifying the relevance for the leads that are coming inbound, score them where they are in the journey, and even activate them in a proper way with the automations, because you know what next content to send them in order to bring a little bit closer down to closing the deal. So you can simplify your life with either work of AI agents or buying some additional tools that pretty much doing the same that AI agents can do. But if it still feels a lot, again, you have 42DM, 1 click away from Rob, who will be very happy to help you with any of those tasks. And that's pretty much it for today's webinar. I'm passing my word to Rob. I think he has one more Easter egg for you.
Yes, thank you so much, Kate. Thank you, everybody, for putting up with the technical difficulties. Sometimes life happens. But as a thank you, we have a limited number of audits that we can do. So we'd love to give you guys a free AI visibility audit. Just scan that QR code. I'll leave it up on the screen for a bit while you guys fumble, find your phone, open the camera, and then wonder why that tapping doesn't work. But you fill out a short brief. We're going to put together some tailored suggestions that'll help you boost your AI visibility. And as Kate said, they're going to be fairly practical suggestions you guys can implement on your own. But if you're like most marketing teams that we talk to and a little bit stretched and this is just another thing that you can't take on, we're going to be there to help you if that's what you need. Now, it is only valid for up to 24 hours after the webinar. So, take those chances, book them now. We've only got like 10 slots available. It's just enough for...
We actually promised the audit to all the webinar attendees, but if they submit the form within the next 24 hours. So this one's different.
Wow. Well,
it's a bit more generous this time.
Oh, gee. Okay. Well, RIP my inbox then. Okay. I look forward to you guys to doing the audits for all of you and seeing where you can go in your next steps.
Yeah, we need the form because in order to measure your AI visibility, we need some more information about your business. So just signing up for the webinar does not do it. We need you to give us a little bit more to work with for the audit.
Yeah. It's just allowing us to really get a better understanding of your business so that we can truly give you some valuable insights. Okay, I'll just give you guys another 2 minutes. I can't see the chat, but are there any questions coming in from anybody after we've shared all of this? I know it's a lot to digest, but any questions that are relevant specifically to you or just for in general about AI?
Yeah, happy to take any tricky questions about AI search or thought leadership. I'm sure Kate would love to answer about scoring and nurturing and enablement. I know we covered a lot today. It's quite a lot.
Well, either way, we'll be available. We're just one email away or one click away. Look us up on LinkedIn, reach out and connect. So thank you everybody for your time, and look forward to running these audits and chatting with you guys further about personalized optimizations we can do for you.
Yeah, thank you. It was nice to meet everybody and see some clients, some people we know, some people we don't know. Thank you so much for joining. We hope it was useful.
Awesome.
Thank you so much, everybody. And let's have a great second half of the day or evening for those who joined from Europe.
Okay.
Thanks.
All right.
Stay in touch. Bye.
Bye-bye.